What you got on it, man? What's up, 83 Tia? What you got
Yeah.
on Black Vanguard?
So yeah, the Jesse Jackson though, even though it was on Tyrese, now she's live. I listened to some Tyrese. Now she's live last night because I had time. It was a Democratic Shield that was saying nobody don't know who FBA is. That DNC Democratic Shield talking points.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually said something I listened to that over 75% of our people didn't agree with the term African American in 1988 with Jesse Jackson
Right.
coined the term African American. Majority of our people, he didn't talk with the collective of our people. He talked to the talented 10 divine non-boule class that coined the term. The reason why they did because the talented 10, a lot of people sleep on the talented 10 divine non-boule class that's in these sorority fraternities and all these other black society organizations that has been a huge problem in our community because
Facts.
they the one that coined the term African American, bring all these African Caribbeans over here. The reason why they made us African American so we could be comparable to immigrant groups because people don't understand that. Like Elon Musk, even he said himself technically he's an African American because he was born on the African continent, even though he's not quote unquote African descent by definition, he's an African American though because he was born on the African continent. Same thing, Zohar Namdani, that New York City mayor. By definition, even he said he was an African American, even though he's East India, born in Uganda. Technically, he's an African American. He's born on the African continent. A Chinese person born in Africa technically is African American, because they born on the African continent. A Caribbean person that's born in Jamaica technically can be classified as African American.
Mm-hmm.
So that term
Facts.
African American is very problematic though, because
Very problematic.
very
I do
problematic.
agree.
Yeah, because my grandparents, my great grandparents, I got their birth certificates and their birth records and all that type of stuff. They never called themselves African American. Only birth certificates say color or Negro or their birth certificate though, or Indian. They
Mm-hmm.
never called themselves quote unquote African American. The word African American they could put it on the census to the year 2000. Before the year 2000, we want to call ourselves African American before the year 2000. You look at all our parents, great grandparents that's born in the 70s, even the early 80s. They never put African American in the birth certificate. That term was created, term by the Democratic Party to make us
Facts.
comparable to immigrant groups. So that's why they got a problem with the term Foundation of Black America and Descendants of Freemen because they can't co-opt the terms. That's why you had these tethers and Democratic shields fighting so hard so it could be African Americans so they could continue to leech off our struggles. Like these African Caribbean groups, they never did anything to benefit Foundation of Black Americans. They do more harm than they do good to the Foundation of Black American community. Like you don't see these like these Jamaican restaurants and grocery stores. When was the last time you seen these Jamaican businesses gave a back to school backpack giveaway for our youth in our community? When was the
That's
last time you
facts.
see? When was the last time you see in these Jamaican African businesses or Jamaican African organizations actually did any back to school giveaway programs to any Black American businesses or Black American establishments in our community? When these
Exactly.
foreigners come over here, they create their own little enclaves that make sure none of that money is circle back to the foundational Black American community. So all these people are these African Caribbeans, all they are leeches though. Technically, we don't need them over here though. We do good without them. We had successful, thriving foundational Black American businesses. Also, we still got successful, thriving Black American businesses like Baldwin Hills, Ladera Heights, View Park Windsor Hills. We got PG County, Maryland. We got successful, thriving middle class foundation Black American communities. In Oklahoma, they build a top of line foundation Black American on grocery store called What's the Grocery Store in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we slowly building our Black business district all throughout the country again. What I hope you don't see none of these African Caribbean immigrants doing anything for Foundation Black Americans. Also, these African Caribbeans don't patronize support in they don't support our institutions like our banks. When was the last time we when was the last time we see any of these Caribbean Africans supporting our black owned banks like One United Bank, City First Bank, and you got several black institution banks in this country. When was the last time you seen these Caribbean African businesses or countries giving capital to keep our businesses or banks open? That's mostly Black Americans, Foundation
Facts.
Black America that's keeping our banks open though. Like
I
it,
agree.
yep, you don't see none of these Caribbean African organizations investing or investing. The only reason they invest if they could co-op is they could leech off of it, like the Essence Fest. I heard the
Yep.
Essence Fest in New Orleans because they were trying to co-op and steal our culture. So what they did was that they end up in I think $400,000 in debt. So they not allowed to do no more events unless they pay the debt off. Essence Magazine, I mean
Yep.
the founder of
Yep. That's
Essence though.
facts.
So The only reason why they want to cooperate institutions like these are historical black university colleges. You got African and Caribbean immigrants trying to leech off our Black History Month scholarships and Juneteenth scholarships and Dr. Martin King Jr. scholarships. So, and we actually put a stop to that as well. We actually contacting these historical black university colleges all throughout the East Coast and down south. Even out here in California, you have one called the King Drew Medical Center over there. You got these African Caribbeans trying to benefit off our scholarships grants, and we actually sending letters to our historical black university colleges. We don't want Caribbean Africans benefiting off our scholarship grants no more because they got their own Pacific scholarship grants for their own people though. They make sure we don't get the
Black.
same thing.
Hold that thought, Black. You cooking, Black. You was cooking. I don't want to cut you. I'm gonna let, cause I got a lot of people that want to speak, man. But you was cooking, man. You was cooking. I like what you said. I promise I like what you was talking about. I hated to cut you off. Forever Free, what you got on? How you doing today, man?
What's going on, man? Shit, you right, man. I want to keep listening to Black shit. He was going.
Yeah, Black was cooking, man.
Yeah, man. So just being on the point, Black. What is it? Oh, the father of African Americans, Jesse Jackson, has passed. Well, Brian, man, listen, man. These guys like Jesse Jackson, I respect what he did for the civil rights movement. Let me not get that wrong. I ain't taking nothing away from him.
Yeah, man. That's why I'm telling people I don't take nothing away. What he did, but I will talk about the bad and the ugly, how it hurt us and affected us. A lot, and it's a good point. Everybody keep asking, what did he do? What did he do? He did a lot of things. He was the reason why there was a lot of jobs created in certain parts of the Midwest. I want to say Chicago, maybe.
Yeah.
He was the reason why a lot of black people got contracts, government contracts for businesses and certain construction companies. He did a lot. He's the reason why there's diversity in jobs. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, black people, we need to create our own business. But at the end of the day, a lot of us got to work at these jobs. So he did contribute to a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't, even though I dislike a person, what he did, I ain't finna just pitch poo on other things that he did. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Forever.
Yeah. But you're right, Brian. I mean, other than that, man, I just hate that he decided
Hold on, person at the top. You gonna get your turn. Go, Phil.
Yeah, I just hate that he deemed that term on us, just don't, you got to talk to your community first before you decide to just call him something. You see what I'm saying? It's like naming a gang, right? You got a gang, and if I'm the leader of the gang, or if I'm proclaiming, if I'm standing out as a gang member, right, or whatever, hey, I'm a name the name, but hey, I want to make sure everybody in the crew is down with it, right? You may not be down with that name. No, we ain't that. The name that he gave us, it's just, it affects us more now than ever. You see what I'm saying? Because now we group with these people, with the African Americans. I ain't never been to Africa. As you see my picture up there. That's my great granddaddy. He ain't no damn African. We don't know nothing about no Africa. We from Mississippi.
I'm from
born in Mississippi. Yeah, too. Born in Clarksdale, live in Detroit.
I'm born in Jackson.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. You see, no telling. I'm sure our family's probably crossed. My original last name is Johnson, so you know where that comes from.
I already know.
Johnson, exactly.
Yeah. And my folks from the Delta of Mississippi, from Greenwood.
Wow.
My folks, the Brownlows. My grandma's side was the Brownlows, and my grandfather was the Moore. M-O-O-R-E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, so wow. Itabena, we got land in Itabena. I would name the name of the land, but we the people that do the goat milk out there. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of goat out there on 49 and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm we a lot of us in Port Gibson, Mississippi.
Okay,
we got a whole road called
Johnson
Road.
Yeah, close to Natchez. Vicksburg.
Yep. So hey man, so my thing is, man, the African American part. Even I talked to my grandma. My grandma's still living. And she talked about. She said, "I don't understand." She said, "I mean, how people calling us African? We not. She don't know no African. Her daddy ain't know no Africans.
No, Africans we don't know no goddamn Africans.
Yeah, African what?
Yeah, we never heard no funky ass African.
Yeah, man. He should have just stuck with. You know what? It should have just been. Something different, man. Black American. Whatever you want to call it, however deep you want to get into it. But my thing is copper people, whatever you want to call it. It should have never had nothing to do with African anything. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing. But hey, rest in peace, Jesse Jackson. I'm going to land my plane and let other people talk. Thanks,
All right,
B.
brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to my Mississippi
Oh
brother,
yeah, love him,
cousin.
baby.
Shout out
Oh
to the
yeah.
family. What's up,
Yep. You too,
Trill? How
B.
you doing, Trill Turner? You doing all right, man?
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Jesse Jackson, as a Chicagoan, I think he sold us out, right?
Okay, talk to me.
He sold us out, number one, with the African American thing being a card carrying Native American, right?
I do agree.
So that's one. He was on that balcony without a tie on.
Yes.
That's number two, right? Look into that however you want to
Can you
look
talk
into
about
it.
that? I want you. Can you elaborate on that for people that don't know what you're talking about?
So, literally, what's gone down, and this was released, is that the people who were on the side of the unalivers on that balcony,
With who?
they didn't
with
with Martin Luther King.
Okay, keep going.
They were instructed prior to that day not to wear a tie, right? So if you look at that picture and the pictures from that day, if you want to know who was allies, true allies of our community, just see who had on a tie and who didn't, right? But we won't get into too much of that, right? We also have, and I brought up ComEd, right? ComEd is the electric company here. ComEd had a cap on their rates. You couldn't cut people off in certain times a year. You couldn't charge X amount. ComEd did an entire push led by Jesse Jackson.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Educate me on that.
Listen, so he did a push with the government to eliminate the cap that was placed on charging you for electricity, cutting you off in the wintertime, all of these different things to protect the people. ComEd paid Jesse Jackson, and Jesse Jackson, one of his last successful campaigns, was a campaign to get that cap removed. So when I say, if your light's been cut off in Illinois in the past 15 years, you can thank Brother Jesse for that. He was the spearhead. He was a paid actor, right? Also, he also immediately founded Rainbow Push. Well, the push came in because he actually took the name from the brother Fred Hampton, who was an enemy of the state. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes,
so immediately after Fred Hampton was unalived on Jay-Z's birthday, by the way, here comes Jesse Jackson out of nowhere to start the Rainbow, but he couldn't say the Rainbow Coalition because that was already Fred Hampton's. So he had to add the push to it. Jesse Jackson also sat on the Council of Foreign Affairs with some of the biggest, and that's what Black was saying, how he was boule and he represented. So name me another Black person who sat on the Council of Foreign Affairs. That is very, very high level boule. When he pushed against Bush, they exposed his affair. His son was caught in the Blagojevich scandal when he was trying to sell Obama's Senate seat.
Yeah, I remember.
He was the informant. So his son was an informant, and his daughter-in-law was my alderman at the time. Very shady, shady characters, right? So they worked for the government just like all of these Black elite or the talented 10th, as this young man Black was nailing it. And that's
Hold on, Trill. Before you keep going, I got a question. So, by you being from Chicago, being in the Chicago area, and you know more. Hold on, let me mute him up. So you know more than what most people do, because I don't stay in Chicago. Do you think so? What positive things that you think what have you seen him do in Chicago?
Well, just like you did say, he did a lot of surface level things on behalf of the Democrats, right? So Rainbow Push would have events. They would have the back to school. They would have the job fairs. They were that type of thing, but it's the same way now. When the Democratic narrative was to throw these little bones to Black Americans, he was the face of it. But when the Democratic narrative was to throw these bones and allow our community to get infiltrated, he definitely by the Mexicans and these other ethnic groups, the Arabs. He was a part of it. Jesse Jackson, if you read a book about him, the way he came to power was he basically extorted businesses in the black community. So he went there and paid them for protection. So he went around to these businesses and said, hey, if you don't pay me X amount of dollars a month, we're going to boycott you. And that's really how he came to power. Like what they say. Farrakhan said Malcolm X was not a band leader. Neither was Jesse Jackson, but he worked for the people. He also had, now land this, he also had a situation where he paid a young father to come to an Operation Push meeting with a pew-pew and pull the pew-pew out on him because Jesse Jackson was attempting to get Secret Service. So he used this young man as a pawn he paid him to use him as a pawn to come and say, I could do this to you. And the young man ended up giving it, you know what I'm saying? And he was a smart young man. And Jesse Jackson used this boy as a pawn. And the boy was able to get a slap on the wrist because Jesse was trying to get, what's the name? Keep in mind, Barack Obama, Farrakhan, and Elijah Muhammad, they all live in these, Barack Obama as well.
Might have got a phone call or something.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Hold on one second, y'all. Y'all be patient. I'm gonna let him land his plane after this. Once again, I understand people talking about the bad outweigh the good. Duh, I know that. But I'm just not finna just drag the man without telling something positive about the man. Like, god damn, shit. We everybody telling the bad. We know the man did bad, but at least throw in something that he did for the people.
Oh, he was the
Trill, you
first and
there?
only African American in North America. So that's that, and the last.
Yep. Trill, you there? Trill might have a phone call.
Oh, he was the
Go
one talking?
ahead. Oh, no, you good. Johnny Black, you there?
What's up, man? Hey, man, R.I.P. Jesse Jackson, man. Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights icon, civil rights pioneer, leader of the 20th century. I don't know what other people do, but, Jesse actually got a body of work. I mean, politicians aren't nuns last time I checked. They're not monks walking around with skirts on handing out candy to kids. That's not what they do for a living. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never looked at Jesse Jackson like he was a nice dude. You know what I'm saying? He never gave the impression like he was your
Right.
pastor. You know what I'm saying? Like he was your homie. Like Jesse Jackson was a man. Jesse Jackson was a man's man, actually. Actually, he was a man's man. So you can say what you want to say about him, but Jesse Jackson was a man's man. Jesse Jackson wasn't no bitch ass nigga. So,
Okay, I got a question. So
yeah.
what made Jesse Jackson a man's man?
He took care of all his business. He took care of his family. He handled his business. I don't care what he did. I don't care that it's a politician. Politicians do dirty shit. So what? He was a dirty politician. So what? What politician ain't dirty? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna let y'all have Jesse Jackson. I'm not a Democrat, but however, the minister ain't gonna be here much longer. When the minister passed, y'all come out say what y'all want about the minister,
I respect the
but it
Minister
gonna
Louis
be some
Farrakhan.
pushback.
No,
It
I
gonna be
respect.
some pushback.
No,
I'm gonna let y'all have Jesse, but when the minister eventually leaves, say what you want to say, but it gonna definitely be some pushback.
No,
And
I
with that,
respect
I'll
the.
land my plane.
No, I
All
respect
right,
the
all right.
Minister Louis Farrakhan. He did a lot for Black
Yeah.
American society.
Hold on
And
one second, Black. I got you, Black. I'm gonna let you speak. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to let some other people speak. But I get it with Minister Louis Farrakhan, but we were just talking about Jesse Jackson though. But I get you though. I get you. Shout out to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And another thing, there was anybody from Chicago, I remember when they were trying to get Jesse Jackson to speak out against Farrakhan for making anti-Semitic remarks. So, against the Jews. So, and Jesse Jackson didn't do it. So, gotta give him some credit for something, Conscious, what you got on? Boy, the disrespect of Farrakhan. Oh my God.
Hey guys,
Oh,
I
you.
won't be long.
Oh no, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, you're an African. Go, Candace. What you got on?
I mean, good, bad, and ugly. He was very famous, infamous to some people too. So I never speak bad about. I mean, he was still us. We had not so good people in our lineage and not so bad people in our lineage. So I personally don't. There's things that'll stick on us that we're still trying to shake, like the African American title. But I mean, I he was in with a lot of civil rights people during a certain time. He had to be a real person at some point in his life, I imagine. And to everybody's point, like people they sell out sometimes, and it is what it is. But I don't see a reason to hold any kind of HATE like in me about it. If anything, I observed it. I'm aware of it, and we're adjusting to some of the stuff that has been left to fix. Like a lot of boomers left a lot of shit for us to fix. Pan-Africanism as well has been tough, for us to kind of shake as well. So I'm not, gonna sit here and be dude up and stuff. I don't really have nothing to say except like, we're changing the page, a new chapter, and it is what it is.
All right,
I don't know.
shout
I'm indifferent. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Candace. And I want to make one thing about what the last brother that was saying that Jesse Jackson was a politician and they all dirty. That's the point. That's not a man's man. You know what I'm saying? And I disagree with that dude when he was talking about, politicians are dirty, but he took care of his family. But a lot of these politicians have hurt people like us. People like Jesse Jackson has hurt people like us. There's a lot of politicians that has affected the way we live, the way how we spend our money and things like that. And just like a brother recently was just talking about, I kind of heard stories like this when Jesse Jackson would go around certain black businesses and shake them down. So there's nothing manly about that. I just want to put that out there.
Right.
If you're a politician, be a politician. I get it. You're gonna have to do some underhanded shit, but man, don't be an asshole to your people either. Cash, go Cash. What you got on?
Hey, what's up, Brian? What's up, y'all? I gotta agree with you, Brian, man. We do have to put the good in there too with the
Got
bad. We
to.
know he did bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much good that he has done. I heard he did some work with the kids and stuff. It's up to the Most High to judge the man at the end of the day, and he's sitting in that judgment chair right now. So,
Go live. The
you know,
Most High
so
had him muted for a couple years. He couldn't even talk that good.
right, yeah, and I think some of that might be karma too.
Karma.
Yeah, because um, y'all know, allegedly, I'll say allegedly, right? Because you never know who's listening, but they say that man, he's the reason why Martin Luther King uh transferred from the basement because he was down there in the basement of that hotel. Jesse Jackson allegedly told him, "Yo, let's move to a balcony. Let's get a balcony room."
Yeah, I heard that story too.
So I'm gonna just say allegedly on that, but it's a lot of things that we could point out, like the fact that he, obviously pushed that African American term, but he himself had Cherokee on his
Cherokee, yeah.
documents. So what are we doing here? So you want to identify as Cherokee, but the rest of us gotta identify as African American. It's crazy, but yeah, it's some other grimy stuff I heard about him. I don't know what's true all the way, 100%. But at the end of the day, God gonna judge him, and yeah, karma comes for people, and it's not just karmic reaction, but it's generational karmic reaction
Mr. Pan
sometimes.
Africanism. Mr. Yeah, you
Yeah,
right, Cash. I do agree. Now I'll read in the comment. Yeah, I do agree, Cash. I do agree 100% with you, man. I promise I do. You ain't said nothing wrong. You feel you landed your plane, brother?
yeah. I'm gonna land with that. I know you got a lot of people in the room, so I'll pass the mic.
Okay, I ain't
What's
rushing you.
up, Candice?
LBAJ, he on tea time. So Jarika, what you got on and how you doing today?
No, I'm back.
Oh, he did. Hold on. BMW. So he did not have Cherokee on his birth certificate. Okay. So FBAJ, what you got on?
I'm stuck between Eddie from
I
Barbershop.
can't hear you.
I said I'm stuck in between feeling like Eddie from Barbershop and saying God bless the dead. Like that's how I feel right now. I kind of want to say Elfin, but then I kind of feel like
It's a lot of background noise, dog.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
All right, now like I was saying, I'm stuck in between feeling like Eddie from Barbershop, but Jesse Jackson, and then I'm also kind of like, Art, rest in peace. May the Lord bless his soul. But at the same time, I don't know. Nigga shit, Jesse Jackson has sold this out one too many times. And I don't care how much good you do. If your bad is something that terrible to where you done sold your people out just to make a quick dollar, just to have a chance at being president, when you know good and goddamn well they weren't finna put no nigga in office in the 80s, then
Mm-hmm.
shit, I don't know what to tell you, dog. Like, I don't, like,
I
I
agree.
really,
I understand where
like,
y'all coming from.
man, bro, shit, we all got to look. I'm gonna tell y'all the real. We come into this world with two dates: a birth date and a death date. Okay, and his day finally came, and I'm supposed to feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. Shit, we all gotta go, motherfucker. Hell, that's the point of living. You go, goddamn it. So shit, he lived, he came, and he didn't win. And shit, hell, life goes on. We got a whole movement going with delineation. We gotta fix all the goddamn shit he did. We still
Mm-hmm.
working on fixing all the goddamn shit he done did.
I
So I mean,
agree.
at the same time, RIP, but at the same time, nigga, you came, you went, you did your big one, and you did a lot of big ones, not for the good of the betterment of us, but for the betterment of yourself. You were selfish in your actions. You literally was the cause behind us losing one of our greatest leaders. And right when the man realized that he was making a mistake and was trying to fix it, you played a part in his unaliving. So
Facts.
why should I care about you being unalive now? I don't give a fuck at all, to be real. Look, I done made my decision. Fuck Jesse Jackson. Hell,
God
me
damn.
talking. Hell, me
It's
talking. Me,
it's a
me
lot of
just
fuck
talk.
Jesse Jackson in the
Hell,
comments too.
hell,
Jesus
me,
Christ,
hell,
people.
me just talking about it.
The
Me just
comments is
motherfucking
wilding today.
It
look.
just
I had
came
an
out.
epiphany.
Jay was talking
But come
about
Yeah,
on,
it.
go
I
on,
had
wrap
an
it up though,
epiphany.
FBJ. I got a
I
couple
had
more
a,
people.
I
So go on,
I
let
had
your
a,
plane.
I had an epiphany. That's all.
No,
But
you
yeah,
good.
but
God.
it's okay. And I just want to say this. I'm gonna let my plane with this. Candace, you looking good than a motherfucker in that black top, girl. That silver hair looking like Storm, girl. Gonna make a nigga come turn into Stan Lee, nigga. It's Excelsior, goddamn it. Fuck you talking about? All right, I'm done.
This nigga sexually harassed on the death date of
Nigga, you be
Jesse
quiet. You be
Jackson.
trying to sell our women off to the Africans for some
That's
Goosey and Jola Price, Mr. Peanut Butter. You have no room to
Brian ain't
talk
been
about.
lately. He ain't been doing it though.
yeah,
He has
He been
I
been
haven't been
good.
pimping the women. I ain't been
you
getting the
try
money I
He
wanted
been
from the women.
pimping since pimping been pimping.
you come from a line of assistant pimps. Your daddy was an assistant pimp.
I
Damn
remember
you.
that movie. Yes.
Jarika, what's up, Jarika? What you got on it? You there, Jarika?
Oh, I wonder.
You sound
Can you hear
janky
me?
right now. Yeah, you sounding kind of janky. I'm,
I
yeah,
sound
you
dingy.
sounding bad. Yeah, it's a lot of background noise.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh, all right. What's up, Yellow? What's going on, brother?
What's up, family? How you doing today?
Man, how you doing, man? How your day going?
Pretty good. We lost here locally in Portland, Oregon, we lost Avell Gordley, who was the first black female woman, not congressman, but senator in the state of Oregon. And we lost Jesse Jackson, who my father was the delegate for him in '88 for president from the state of Oregon, who's been in our house and who was a major disappointment to all of us. Because, see, I'm 50. A big part of Jesse and what he was doing was about hope for the future, hope for this and that. But a lot of his hope didn't materialize, and his movements didn't materialize. and he didn't. It seemed like he sold out several different times. And I'm just disappointed that a lot of us back in the day, they put a lot of capital in Jesse Jackson.
They did.
He not ran for president once, but he ran for president twice. They put a lot of capital in him, and for him not to come through for black people, not once, twice, or thrice, is a big disappointment. And the only thing he probably did was, I don't know if he was a good father or not, but it was probably just raising his kids. But as far as the community goes, I'm looking at it as an absolute failure, considering all that I know and all what I've seen and all what he didn't do. It's just a straight failure, man. And I hope he's resting in peace. You can be a failure and tell a man he should be resting in peace, but he definitely failed our people. I'll land there.
I got a question for you, Yellow. So by your daddy being in politics and knew him, what was your dad's thoughts about him as a person? If you could speak on that.
I'm only gonna speak for what I heard my dad say. I thought my dad thought that Jesse was slippery. So when Jesse came here in '88 to do all those things and to get my father's support, it came like a year or two later. Jesse Jackson was against Nike. He proposed this boycott. And why Nike is important is because my father is the inventor of the Nike outlet store. So my father, John Thompson, and Spike Lee were the only people in Black America with a voice that said support Nike, because Nike with the outlet stores was giving back to our communities. And they wrecked Jesse Jackson over the coals in Chicago about boycotting Nike because Michael Jordan was there too. So Jesse was made to look very primitive and elementary after those men got a hold of Jesse. And the relationship was never the same after that. And we particularly didn't listen to Jesse anymore after that. You know what I mean? And you got to remember, he disrespected black people by opening his mouth. I'm not for Jewish people, but I'm saying in the midst of an election, you try not to, infuriate people that are supposedly going to vote for you, but he did that too. So everywhere you turn, Jesse Jackson fucked up in one way or the other. And that's not me speaking for my father. That's just me witnessing all the shit that happened. So his program in Chicago, I think that was Operation Push or whatever he was on, was never the Black United Front. The Black United Front started in New York, and they had local chapters all across the country. And we had one in Portland, and we thought that was more effective than Jesse Jackson shit, because it really was focusing on Black Americans, not African Americans, but Black Americans. And all this talk of being African American, just remember in the 60s and 70s, it was about, standing proud and tall and being black. Nobody said stand tall and be African American. James Brown did not say it loud, I'm African American, I'm proud. He said, I'm black and I'm proud. So don't let these people in these trickbacks make you feel like that we have to claim African American. We deserve the chance to define what we are, who we are, what we want to call ourselves, without this interference from anybody in the Caribbean or anybody from Africa. That's what
one more question, Yellow. One more question. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Absolutely.
What was your daddy's thoughts on African American besides your thoughts about it? Like, did he ever mention it? Did he ever talk about it when it first came about, when he first heard it in the late 80s?
I'm gonna say where he put it. I'm gonna say where he put his money where his mouth is. My father started a school out here called the Black Educational Center. It was not called the African Educational Center. It was called the Black Educational Center. And at the front door of the school, it was two black hands shaking. So no, even though they taught us about Africa, right, they taught us about Africa, but it was the Black Educational Center. So that reminds me every day when I wake up, I'm a Black American first. Before any labels or anything, I'm waking up as a Black American. So my people is Black Americans. Now, other people can claim this or that. I'm not disputing that, but we are a nation, 50 states under a similar level of oppression all over this country. I see you at the grocery store, you see me, we give a simple head nod, which means I acknowledge you, you acknowledge me, and if the shit go down with these white tea people, we know where we're at.
Facts.
That's what we have that a lot of other people in the Caribbean and definitely Africa don't have, that collectiveness with us, because we are standing on the shoulders of our elders who were raped and hung from trees and all this other stuff and unalive. So we understand what's going on. in our country. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Shout out to my brother, yo. Shout out to my brother, yo. I liked it. See, y'all were whooping me in the comments. Can I get an apology, y'all, in the comments, man? I wasn't caping for Jesse. I just want to talk about certain things that he done. That's all. I knew he was a piece of shit ass person. Damn, shit.
They said you were caping for him?
Nah, they wasn't staying there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they wasn't staying there. But they were kind though. They were borderline. They wanted to say it.
They going there, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they probably in the group chat.
We cleaned it, we gathered it
up for
back.
Jason
Okay.
Jackson. Yeah, god damn, y'all. Shit.
Yellow said it so succinctly. Like he brought it all together, all the sides.
Yeah, everybody
that said something.
That
Yes.
said something brought a great point to to everything that
Perspective,
about
right.
Jesse. Yeah, great perspective. Thank you. I couldn't think of the big word.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I will say he did one funny thing, and some people may not think this is funny, but when he was in our city and he gave that speech that night, and they were collecting donations, he said, "Give me your quarters, your dollars, everything, even give me your food stamps."
Damn.
That kind of made everybody in the crowd laugh a little bit. I'll give
me them food stamps because they don't know to see these young folks don't know about that paper.
About the books.
The book.
About them books.
Let me buy a book from you, Jack. They don't know about them books. But
about them books.
Let me get financial technology. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Not much. How you doing, man? What's your thoughts on everything?
Man, it's just it's wild. It's wild. I mean, I'm not gonna take a dump on messy Jesse, but let me say it like this. Let me preface everything I want to say like this.
Go ahead.
In this, and I'm a baby boomer. I'm 69 years old. So
yeah, talk to us, educate us.
I'm just gonna share. I'm just gonna share my experiences with you guys, real brief. What I've been able to observe is that there's two classes of people: the tricked and the trickers. Now, the trickers have a specific lingo, a specific system that goes with how they carry out their plot and their plan. Jesse coining that term African American was a very diabolical situation. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't the first, because in the years that I've been around, we've been African American, Black, Negro, and colored, and none of that, to the best of my research, has been applicable to us. I too, my people are from Mississippi, on my father's side. My mother's, they're from Kentucky.
Mississippi.
Yeah, my people from Tupelo, Mississippi, and it was like 15 of them.
Ooh, Tupelo. Boy, them women in Tupelo, boy, I tell you.
Yes, sir. And so one of my the last male from my father's brothers and sisters that passed away 2 years ago, Uncle Jesse, he lived in Chicago, and he passed away at 107 2 years ago. And I asked him about 10 years ago, because I'm being made aware of some information, having dealt with the Moorish Science Temple and other groups, Pan-Africanism and this, that, and the third, and understanding nationality. I'm like, oh, wow, this is different. And I asked him, I said, Jesse, I said, when you were coming up, because most of my people on my father's side, they were quote unquote into the religious thing, the Christian thing, the Jesus thing, right? So I was raised up, I'm from the Midwest, I'm from Indiana, but I live in California now. So they were on that. And I asked Uncle Jesse, and I was trying to ask him in a way where I wouldn't offend his possible Christian sensibility. I said, Jesse, was there ever any conversation when you guys were growing up that we had any Indian in our family? And he said to me emphatically, we are Choctaws. So I said, that's very interesting. So he knew something obviously that I didn't, because he'd been around, long before I was ever born, right? He was older than my father. So, I found it to be very interesting. But I've been on this whole kick about our identification. And that's why I go back to the tricks, the people that are tricked and the people that are doing the tricking. And one of the best ways to trick a person or help them mismanage their thoughts is to give them misinformation.
Facts.
Now, from my research, what I've come to understand is that this whole color scheme thing came from basically three German anthropologists, Carlos Linnaeus, Frederick Johann Blumenbach and Francois Bernier. And y'all can go do your research and check them out. And they're the ones that kind of came up with this red man, white man, brown man, and whatever other color, turquoise man, or whatever other kind of man you want to throw in there. You know what I'm saying? And they came up with this. But I see it's all a part of the group that sits in the seat of power, the tricksters, to continue to keep the tricked going in the way that they're going. And there's more of the population that's tricked than those that are doing the tricking.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So y'all get it, y'all understand. And
yeah, I get what you're putting down because I'm a hunger hound.
Y'all see who we up against. Y'all see who we up against. And another thing about us, we've been locked into this entitlement mentality and savior mentality. We think somebody gonna come and save us, and we feel entitled. Which what it does, it takes away, it renders us useless and helpless in terms of taking care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Now, it pains me to see every other group come in our community, and they'll sell us our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we can't go nowhere and sell nobody else. We can't go into Chinatown and sell them shrimp fried rice. We're not going to go into a Mexican community and sell them tacos. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do that. We ain't going to go into a Jamaican community and sell Jamaicans whatever, plantains, whatever they like. But everybody can come in, and we just accept everybody in our communities. Like the brother, like you were saying, brother, somebody about $1 trillion a year, over $1 trillion a year that we have access to. But it might as well, like the brother was saying, even though we got $1 trillion a year that's generated from us, but guess what? Even though we may have so-called black banks, but guess what? These black banks follow the rules of the conquerors. If you read the One United Bank here in LA, still is regulated by
white folk. Ain't they 51% white people got
probably. But listen, even if they was all so-called black people, bro, here's the thing: if you a bank, you gonna follow the rules of the bankers.
Yeah.
You're gonna be subject to the Federal Reserve. You're gonna be subject to the same regulatory framework as any other bank. So when people get to about we need our own banks, I'm like, oh my goodness.
I understand. I also understand on the flip side of it though, and I might be saying this wrong. If anybody in the comment section can correct me, but if we do put money into some of these black, quote unquote, black owned banks, won't that help other black people to get loans quicker than other like Wells Fargo or other banks? Would that help grow something? I don't know how this banking thing works.
It possibly could, but here's the thing, good brother. The money, it's still the actual currency is what they created. Now, I'll tell you how we can quote unquote economically.
I want you to hold that thought. Hold that thought for me, Fanny, because I see you a financial man. I need you on a financial day.
Okay.
So I want you to hold that thought for me. Let me let I have 2 more people that's coming up. Let me let you about to give some good game. I'm about to have to write some shit down. I wasn't ready. American Negro. What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, brother? Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, man.
Where you are. I wanted to just co-sign into what Yella was saying. I 100% agree with what that brother 2 below me was talking about. I'm 50 years old, and I remember Jesse Jackson as a young boy growing up in my grandmama's house in Lawton, Oklahoma, back home in Oklahoma. And he's right about that. Bottom line is that Jesse Jackson has been a major, as an adult, as a full-grown ass man, Jesse Jackson's legacy is one of a disappointment. I'm just resounding what this brother down below me is saying. He's talking about, Yella said, well, most of this stuff is never materialized. What I believe is that Jesse Jackson had a stunted growth problem. He never left the 1960s. He was always stuck back there.
Hold on. Can you elaborate a little bit deeper on the stunted growth? Like, even though you say he was
political
stuck in the 60s,
activism.
what you mean?
political activism. Understand that when we were children, when I presume that Yella is in my age, I think he said he's around 50. Our childhood was in the 80s. So that's when our childhood was. And we had projects, the 1970s when we had the projects, Cabrini Greens and all these other major projects in the urban areas. Remember, they were devolving into ghettos. We had gang warfare because of the schmug problem that was brought in by the three-letter federal agencies to destroy black communities all across America. You can always research COINTELPRO and MK Ultra to get some backstory about all of that. But the bottom line is that Jesse Jackson was always about, he never wanted to focus on the black problem. He always wanted to look at the symptoms, right? He always wanted to be the political activist, but he never wanted to cut the tree trunk at the root. He never wanted to do that. He always wanted to be in the limelight. Remember him running for president in 1984 and what have you, but he never wanted to do the groundwork. So it was very superficial for him because he was stuck in the political activism part, but he never wanted to focus on the groundwork. He talked about, he created the Rainbow Push Coalition or whatever. Well, what about just giving back black people's dignity by giving them equity in home ownership? You understand? He always talked about poverty, but never the factors of poverty. He never talked about breaking the cycle of poverty. He always said, well, I'm going to feed people, but never talked about, well, what about the jobs so that people can self-sustain, can be self-sustaining, that families can be self-sustaining, especially in the wake of the Reagan administration. Reagan administration was the worst. Aside from Carter, it was one of the worst administrations that we grew up under as a child. I remember inflation going rampant. It destroyed Black American purchasing power. And that's what led me to go into economics and finance and stuff. And that's what led me toward my degrees, is that I wanted to understand the factors. I wanted to understand the reasons as to why Black America was failing in the 80s, It was on Jesse Jackson's watch. He was more concerned about connecting back to Africa. Back in 1986, when he marched up to the Reagan administration White House with him and Dinky and the rest of those guys and declared that we are African American now, my grandmama was cussing at the TV screen. It was a Magnavox TV screen. She was cussing at the TV tube because she said, we're never African. And this is back in Oklahoma. Understand that Oklahoma, for the 146 people in your room, Black Americans, Oklahoma is the birthplace of the Black American cowboy. The Black American rodeo is at Boley, Boley, Oklahoma. We have whole entire towns, actually counties in Arkansas, but we have whole entire towns here in Oklahoma. Spencer, Oklahoma, Langston, where Langston University and the HBCU is. We have what we needed to be self-sustaining, but he never focused on that. He wanted to focus on the superficial. He wanted to focus on the dashikis. Now we have to wear, since we're African-American, 1986, he declared us African-American. Then, 4 years later on the census, all of a sudden with no vote, no nothing, now the Reagan administration had reclassified us as African American on the 1990 census, right? And none of us agreed to it. Jet Magazine had a polling, and he said Roscoe, who was the guy over at Jet Magazine, he said, that's a schizoid term. It's a schizoid term because nobody ever agreed for us to be African American. But all of a sudden, because of Jesse, we wore dashikis, kente clothing.
You ain't
and we were supposed to. You remember when we were supposed to celebrate Kwanzaa?
That, man.
How many people celebrated Kwanzaa?
No, we didn't.
If you
celebrate
Kwanzaa, put a 1 in the chat. If you've never celebrated Kwanzaa, put a 2 in the chat.
I'll put
a 1 in the
chat
if you celebrated Kwanzaa.
Yeah, we didn't celebrate Kwanzaa, thank God.
140 people in the room. This is crazy what Jesse
Shout
Jackson.
out to the twos.
Look at all these twos. Look at all these twos. Look at all these twos, brother.
Thank God we didn't celebrate Kwanzaa, man.
Kwanzaa. So this is the shit. This is the crazy
So you want to get into it.
And again,
I didn't know nothing about Kwanzaa, none of this shit in Mississippi.
This is the shit that so you in Mississippi? I'm in Arkansas right now. I'm in North Little Rock, Arkansas right now. Off of 11th Street. So this is the shit that we're talking about, right? This is the stuff that we're talking about, that he he had taken us left when we were supposed to go straight. He had diverted us from our true path because all he wanted to do was stay in the limelight with these superficial come-ups, with these superficial things. He never really graduated to that intellectualism, to that long stay intellectual where we needed to have someone who moved out of political activism and went into intellectual strategy. And he just never did it. He just never had that. So he was a great disappointment. And my grandmama, God rest her soul, Grandma Ruth Louise Shaw, Grandmama Ruth, she was just cussing at Jesse Jackson. She was hurt. She was visibly hurt. Now, I as a child, I didn't understand. I just didn't understand why she was so hurt. Now I do as a 50-year-old man. It's a little bit too late for our generation, but not too late for the youngins. Not too late for the youngins.
Oh yeah, that's what you see now, American Negro, with a lot of our young people pushing back on a lot of this African American stuff and things like that. So I think it's a dope thing. But I want you to hold that thought for me, American Negro. You gave some great insight. Shout out to everybody in the comments section. I thank y'all. I thank y'all for the gifts. I thank y'all for the likes. Now, why, man? What now, niggas, my
Let's get them likes up, y'all.
Why am I on 13K likes, man? 13K likes, and I got 144 of you niggas over here watching and cussing me out, talking about I'm a Jesse Jackson lover. Huh? At least y'all could get my likes up for your boy. At least can I get at least 20K likes for your boy or something?
Have the screen, y'all.
Fuck the gift. Just give me the likes, man. God damn. Shit. Now I guarantee. Thank you, Aquarius. I appreciate you tapping Aquarius. Thank you, Aquarius. Now, if I was cussing out some Africans, man, these things get to tapping. But at the same time, I'm thankful that for us, all of us, to sit up here and chop up game. What's up, Goldie? For us to chop up game and just speak on what we think about Jesse Jackson. Y'all done changed my mind before I got on this live, so shit. I don't know what to say, but thank y'all for the like. Damn, we at 17K. Let's get it. Tea time is on you.
Hey Brian, hey panel, good afternoon. And I want to say some, not my personal issues with Jesse Jackson, but my family issues with Jesse Jackson, because my grandfather, which his name is Reverend Minor Wesley Jackson, actually they all not hung together, but they all went to meetings. And if y'all don't know, before Operation Push, it was Operation Breadbasket.
Yeah, Breadbasket in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Was that in the 60s, right? Breadbasket.
And they received a $57 million funding that they're supposed to distribute around to the Chicago churches. Well, see, Jesse Jackson on the South Side with all his friends. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason, and I ain't gonna cap. I ain't really was too fond about what he did too, but what he didn't do is agree with all that African American term, and then he also told us that Jesse Jackson was just playing. So all this political stuff, it was all a game. He didn't believe none that he was doing. If my mom was woke or wasn't getting dressed because she about to go, I have to tell y'all the whole story because she was actually there going to the Baptist convention. She was there, literally there with them. And so Operation Breadbasket, when they received that money, he supposed to came to Chicago with I don't know if y'all know Clay Evans and Reverend Bronson. Clay Evans was Reverend Jesse Jackson's pastor, and they distributed, I think it was $57 million. Then they did a $5 million funding where they were supposed to build 2 job centers. And who they got to deal with was the Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. I have an article here if you want to see it. And what happened was Jesse Jackson didn't distribute the money to the whole Chicago churches. He only distributed some of the money to the south side of churches. And you can see in his article all the people that was in the pastors in his article. I'll put it in the link so y'all can look at it. That's who he gave the money to. And what happened was, my family don't like Jesse Jackson because Clay Evans, which is cool with Jesse Jackson, Clay Evans, how can I say this? On the live, my I say he's my mom's second cousin. He unalived my mom's second cousin, and he tried to cover it up. Jesse Jackson and all of them tried to cover it up. So once they found out that his sister was there, they unalived her too to cover it up. And to this day now, I don't know if he's still alive or he's deceased, but he was in prison for life. But Jesse Jackson wasn't a good person at all. He didn't do what he's supposed to do. And if my mom, when she finished doing what she wanted to do, if y'all want to talk to her, ask any questions, I would, because literally her father was there when all this was going on, and they did not agree with nothing. And if y'all want to see the article, I can show y'all or I could put it in the chat. I can
put it in the chat.
So y'all can go to the article because it talks about how he made the deal with the Great Atlantic Pacific Tea Company to get the $5 million from them to distribute money, which he didn't do. He built 2 little places, wasn't enough for 700 people to have jobs, and they're supposed to get $5 million every year for these young Negroes, because in the article it say young Negroes in the article. Not African American, it says Negroes, for them to get monies and jobs throughout Chicago. But I'll put it in the chat so y'all can go look at it.
Okay. Shout out to T-Turn. That's some good information right there. I learned a lot about Jesse. I did a video on YouTube. Oh, make sure y'all follow me on YouTube. Also, Brian Jehovah. YouTube, Brian Jehovah, one word. Make sure y'all follow me on YouTube. I will be going live on there very soon. I'll probably go live on TikTok maybe twice a week, but I will be going live on YouTube. Make sure y'all follow me on YouTube, Brian Jehovah. Or if you forget, just check my profile out and click the link, Brian YouTube channel. Y'all see it right there. My YouTube channel is right there on my TikTok link. Y'all make sure y'all holler at your boy. Subscribe to me. Talk shit to me in the comment, Africans and my Black Americans and some of my white people. I need y'all to come on through, because I'm doing all right over there now, and I'm going to need y'all. Shout out to everyone, man. Thank y'all for the likes. We're at 28K. I appreciate that. CC, what is going on?
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, because whenever we were online last night on I was on Red's line.
Shout out to my brother FBA Red.
Yeah, I saw you come through.
Yeah. I was there for a short second.
Yeah, and whenever we were online, and I think it was Miss BX Gatekeeper, I think she had put in the chat that he had passed. And we read it, and then we went to Wikipedia, and it was already posted that he had passed 16 minutes, ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, good, because then that African American can just go on with him, can unalive with him too. Because whenever he did that, see, I'm a 70s baby. I was born in the 60s. So in the 70s, growing up, my dad always said, my dad never liked him. He was like, that's a bootleg hard ER. He ain't nothing but a jack leg. That's what my dad used to say. Jack leg hard ER. So I've never respected him as a person. To me, he was always like, as a child and as a teenager, it's always like he was always out there for the white tea man. He was always with them, doing whatever they say, like a puppet. And it was always about him. It was never about us as a community. He would go out, and I remember whenever they had that over in Iran, whenever they had the hostages over there, and he gonna go over there and he was always wanting to be the front and center and get praise from the white tea people. But then you had the apartheid going on and everything. He never got involved with that, but then he was all up in that, making sure that them men came home from the hostages. But anyway, I just thought that he was a clown. I've always thought he was a clown.
You see that theme that's going on, that he always wanted to be center stage. He always wanted to be, yeah.
That's it. That's something everybody been saying about that dude. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I was just holding a quick live, but before y'all go, I want to play y'all something. Hold on one second. And y'all probably know who this brother is. This brother called him out too.
Anyway, they was it was always like one big time, and you know, you would never see him whenever it was issues going on in our community. You know, you looking for him because he's supposed to be the face of our community, but he never showed up. But you know, he was and then whenever Martin Luther King, whenever he got alive, people back in the day, they didn't say it out loud in the family when you surrounded.
Your phone breaking up. Your phone breaking up. Hey, your
Coming
phone
in
breaking up,
choppy,
CC.
Cece.
CC, your phone breaking up. I don't know if she can hear me.
Yeah, she's down to 2 bars. Cece, or 1 bar. It's coming in choppy, girl.
Yeah, you sound real bad, CC. You bad, CC. I'm gonna drop you, CC, because you sound real bad. It's kind of choppy.
Like the remix.
Yeah, she sound kind of choppy. But before I let y'all go, my thing messed up. So so y'all I'm gonna have to do it the bootleg way. I ain't gonna be able to play it through my equalizer because my phone want to do what it want to do. So hold on, y'all. I want to play this for you. I hope y'all can hear it. Now this is our brother Khalid Muhammad. Y'all remember Khalid Muhammad?
Dark, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. This one he was on
when white
Phil
folks
Donahue.
can't defeat you, you said in your speech at Kane, they'll always find some Negro, some boot-licking, butt-licking, buck-dancing, bamboozle, half-baked, half-fried, sissified, punkified, pasteurized, homogenized nigger that they can trot out in front of you. I would ask you, Mr. Muhammad, is Jesse Jackson a boot-licking, homogenized nigger? To the best of his ability, I believe he tried. Here you are mocking Jesse Jackson at a speech. I believe this is Howard University. Roll the tape. Oh, bootlicking, buck dancing, scratching, shuffling, messy Jesse Jackson. Keep. I am a somebody. I am a somebody. Keep hope alive. I am a somebody. I don't rightly know who the hell I am, but I am
somebody.
Yeah.
That was our Phil Donahue portion. That was our Phil Donahue show. Back in the was that the late 80s, early 90s? Young folks don't know about Phil
The
Donahue.
late 80s, and it
See,
went off in
young
the early
folks.
It was
90s.
the 80s.
See,
Yeah,
young
the
folks,
80s.
y'all don't know how raw television and how we was back in the day. You get what I'm saying? A white person knew how to say the N word in a way, and a black person knew how to check a white motherfucker at the same time. You know what I mean? So shout out to our brother Khalid Muhammad, man. R.I.P. to him. We lost a great man. But at the same time, that was a time you can just 13 channels. You can talk all the shit you want. You could talk shit.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you had to tell the truth. Because if you lied, they didn't respect it. But at the same time, shout out to everybody. Well, Nisha, Khalid was a joke. Well, you was a joke too. I think you a joke, Nisha. Shit, we all think we some jokers. But anyway, shout out to American Negro. Shout out to my brother Finance. Shout out to my sister Candace. Thank you so much for coming. Forever. Shout out to everyone, man. I think this was a great, we had a great little talk, man, and I thank y'all so much. Shout out to that Deny African Descent. Yeah, we had to watch what was we had to watch what was ever on TV. And you ain't lying, man. You ain't lying. I miss those days when we just had 13 channels.
13.
13, bro. And that motherfucker cut off at 12 o'clock and we'll see some naked Africans. You remember them naked Africans? With them long
Nat
titties?
Geo, yeah.
Y'all remember them
Send
days? You remember?
send $2. Yeah. You remember one channel was only PBS, so you never watched that because PBS was the only channel. That was one channel all
Yeah.
unto itself. You had TBS, Turner Broadcasting had all the old color, black and white and color films with.
Yep.
All that shit. So
Now that was
really,
TNT.
you only had
TNT
10.
had the old movie. Used to have the old movie.
TBS.
TNT had.
Turner Broad. He expanded.
Well,
but
it was
TNT
both
later.
of them.
TNN,
So
TNT.
No,
so
TNT had
basically,
the
you
old.
didn't even have
movie.
13.
Yep, 13. Yep.
You remember how you had to do? You had to turn on the TV in order to get your video console, your Atari to work. You had to connect because the TV tube was your screen. So you had to connect that. So this is back in the day, man. We was running around outside more than we were inside on social media. There was no social media.
Nothing was on TV. You go outside and play.
Yeah, you go on. So you had to go outside. I wanted to say this before you go and you kick me off. And I'll leave anyway. I wanted to say TV 3 and 4, channels 3 and 4. Yeah,
3 and 4. That was the main channel.
3 and 4. That was the magic channel.
Use a paperclip for antenna.
Hey.
Hanger.
I don't want to deride or denigrate Jesse Jackson to the point where we just look at him as being nothing but a sellout and whatever. Politics back in the 80s was extraordinarily complicated, right? You had the Jew, you had to at least not say anything against the Jews because the Jews were starting to fund everyone's election campaign. Jesse Jackson ran twice for president, and that was unheard of. This is the first black man that really had a decent shot at the Democratic Party, at the DNC. So bottom line is, even though he was a disappointment to me, and he infuriated my grandmama and many other grandmothers, I'm sure, back in the 80s, this African-American bullshit. But the bottom line is that he did leave a lasting impression on the nation, and he has done good things. Now, I can't enumerate all the little things he did back home in his home, to Chicago, what have you. And the sister had some problems with him doling out that money to different churches that he pretty liked. He discriminated against several churches, I guess, didn't give him money. But the bottom line is, this Jesse Jackson had to navigate some choppy ass waters. This was never before. Obama's presidency was paved nice and smooth because of people like him. And I just want you to understand that Jesse Jackson is not a holistic disappointment. He tried his best. He was just stunted growth, and that's all. That's all.
Right.
He's a man, and men have flaws. All of us have flaws. And I'll go ahead and mute and get off the panel for you to say. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you for your insight. But yeah, shout out to everyone, man. I thank y'all so much.
Me up, man.
What'd you say, Forever?
Thanks for having me up. I appreciate everybody.
Man, I thank you too, man. I thank you for hanging out with me, man, and chopping it up. It was just a little quick live. Shout out to you, Financial.
Real quick before you go.
What'd you say, Financial?
Can I say something real quick before you go?
Yeah, make it fast. I got a boo boo.
Just say it. Like trying to give credit to Jesse, that's all well and that's good. But he's talking about a lot of men have been flawed, but I've been flawed, but my flaw has
not flawed like that.
People.
Yeah, we can't be flawed to our people like that.
Exactly. Yeah. My flaws have hurt me more than they hurt my community.
That's real. That's real. Yeah. Cause I hear a lot of people say he was a man, he was flawed, but there was a lot of great men that was flawed, but they were never flawed in that direction. Like even our brother in DC? That was the mayor of DC.
Marion
Barry. Yeah. He was a flawed man, but he loved his black people.
I respect him. I
respect the hell out of Barry.
He didn't do no sellout stuff, did he? I think he was just bad. He was a bad dude.
He saw the game. He said,
bad with women.
I'm finna go get this mayor bag, and I'm finna go get these hookers, and I'm gonna go get these hookers.
I don't care what you do. Shout out to our brother Marion Barry. You know what I mean? So, we had people like that. We had some great black politicians that didn't sell out to that point. They were flawed, but at the same time they thought of their people. But listen, y'all, shout out to my YouTube family that's listening and watching. Shout out to my TikTok family. I thank y'all so much. Shout out to Tamara on the wall. Shout out to CC. Shout out to everyone in the comments. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank y'all for the likes. I appreciate that. Shout out to Aquarius with the hand clap. Shout out to Candace. Shout out to my beautiful sister Candace. Shout out to my brother Financial. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate it. Good night. RIP to Jesse Jackson.
Peace to you, good brother.
Peace.